In recent times, the horror genre has received a resurgence with successful movies like Get Out, It, and A Quiet Place. But among these movies, there's something missing. Where are the dinosaur horror movies? With dinosaurs getting more popular these days, I find it odd that we are not getting a lot of dinosaur movies, especially in the horror genre. For years, dinosaurs were a common choice for movie monsters, mostly in adventure movies or caveman movies. But as far as the memory goes, not a lot were made into straight horror. I'm talking about R-rated, gritty, full of blood, gore, and suspense movies. The only one I could think of is the Dinosaur series by Roger Corman, a series of cheap B-movies that tried to steal the hype from Jurassic Park, only to be destroyed when that came out and showed the world a new look on dinosaur cinema. But to its credit, it tried to be a serious horror movie with the silliest things being the special effects, instead of being self-aware that it is a silly movie and plays along with it like what a lot of mockbusters do. Following Jurassic Park, everyone tried to jump on the dinosaur bandwagon from animation to live action. But like any fad, the dinosaurs were as such, and everyone moved on to the next cool thing to copy and plagiarize. Dinosaur movies are still made once in a while, but they're either cheap animation or some low-budget sci-fi channel mockbuster. Besides Jurassic, we have not seen a big-budget dinosaur movie on the big screen that resonated with the audience or remembered for the right reasons. And no, Godzilla does not count because it's a monster movie, not a dinosaur movie. But we're talking horror movies for now, and why no one is making them. Well, I have some theories of mine, and they're theories, so don't take them as solid facts, but here they are. Number 1. The general view on dinosaurs. Look, dinosaurs are cool, we can all agree on that. But another thing to remember is dinosaurs are also generally seen as a thing for little kids. For the regular crowd, dinosaurs are a thing marketed for kids. You see them in toys, cartoons, coloring books, science kits. They are a children's plaything, and marketing an adults-only dinosaur movie is going to cause some problems. It's the same thing with comic book movies. For many people, a comic book movie means it's okay for children to watch, even though comic fans know not all of them are family friendly, and there were some instances of parents taking their kids to R-rated movies thinking they're okay for children, mainly because they're comic book movies. Number 2. The general view on horror. I mentioned how horror movies are making a strong comeback in recent years, with many of them are praised for their approach of their themes and character buildings and relying on suspense instead of cheap scares. But for many people, when they think of horror, they think of something like jump scares. Cheap, loud jump scares for quick reactions and nothing deep. Others think it's just a gore fest with people you don't care about having sex or getting high on drugs, and the killer gets them all one by one except for the final girl who conveniently survives the monster. An image that plagued the horror genre for long years, and sadly, it's still the thing people think of when they think of horror as the entire genre. Adding to that, the increasing amount of laughable knockoff horror movies that focus on going over the top instead of treating their stories and characters seriously. And that's how we got stupid movies like Sharknado or Birdemic. Movies that people do not remember them as horror movies, they remember them as some of the silliest movies ever. Number 3. R-rated movies are a financial risk. Making a movie is one thing. Making an R-rated horror movie is another thing. People need to remember that movies are a business before artistic expressions, and for actors, it's just another day at work with the expectation to be paid for it. Studios still need to make money. It doesn't matter how well the reception is. If the movie underperforms, then it's a failed business. Ever wondered why the movie you hated got sequels and the one you loved didn't? It's all about the money they earned. That's why some movies that were intended for R rating had to tone down its content to receive a PG-13 rating to get more audience to watch them. It's also the reason why some R-rated movies go with a cheap budget in order to not risk losing more than what they could earn. Some R-rated movies were a success, yes, but a lot of it comes down to brand recognition. Halloween will attract more audience because it's a familiar name, and so was Joker and Stephen King's movies. But take something like Ready or Not, a movie that's not based on a familiar brand, but it was a hit due to positive word of mouth among moviegoers. Of course, making it R-rated is not a guarantee of success, and we saw that with The Predator and Terminator Dark Fate. But for the sake of showing the violence at its full capacity and earn the rating, some risks are needed to be made. If not, then it turns to a standard thriller or action movie with botched up death scenes. Number 4. The increased awareness of animal behavior. There was a time when every animal was portrayed as a persistent killer. Jaws, Anaconda, The Birds, you name it. These movies made the concept of a regular animal acting like a serial killer popular. These days, however, people are not taking it as seriously as in the old days. Enough time has passed for people to get educated about animal behavior, and they're aware now they don't act like how they are in movies. Predatory animals are not just going around killing and eating every human they see. A lot of them don't like the taste of human flesh and can be scared off with the right method. However, they would attack if someone intruded into their territory or agitated them on purpose, or they learned how easy it is to kill humans. And if a predator ate until it was full, then they would ignore other animals and won't bother hunting them. And that applies to dinosaurs as well. Dinosaurs are now portrayed more like animals than the monsters they were back in the day. Up until Jurassic Park 3, the raptors were portrayed as chaotic evil creatures who love to kill everything they see, including each other. It wasn't until Jurassic Park 3 where we got to see a different, more caring side of them, a family who want to save their children. Then came Jurassic World that showed us raptors trained from birth under a trainer, making them even closer to real animal behavior. In comparison, the Spinosaurus, Indominus Rex, and Indoraptor were portrayed with quote-unquote unrealistic behavior. The Spinosaurus had a grudge that made it chase the humans relentlessly, and while there were cases of animals bearing grudge due to abuse or lack of proper upbringing, the Spinosaurus' behavior was still seen to be unrealistic for an animal to have. So if someone would make a movie with, let's say, a raptor as the main villain, chances are it'll be ridiculed for wanting to kill every last human and get labeled unrealistic in an age where everyone wants realism in their movies. But if those pesky humans were the ones invading his territory, then killing them can be justified as him wanting to keep invaders outside his territory. Number 5. Finding the right narrative. To write a dinosaur as the main creature of the movie is a bit of a challenge. Unlike sharks, snakes, or bears where they exist in their real-life natural habitats, you can't just place a dinosaur and treat it like it's normal. You can't say it's an alien from another planet or some supernatural thing that comes and goes however it wants. Having an extinct creature in a movie needs the right narrative if one wants to make it grounded in reality. For now, there are 3 options to include a killer dinosaur. 1. The expedition to an isolated place. We've seen this in many movies like The Lost World, King Kong, and The Land Unknown. The explorers going to an isolated jungle and they struggle to get out of it. The writers could either make the explorers find the dinosaur by chance, or they go there looking for it based on reports or local legends like the monster of Loch Ness. 2. Branching from option 1 is having the dinosaur an urban legend in a rural area. This is the story where the dinosaur terrorizes a small town and claiming victims at each night. Instead of the people going to the dinosaur's territory, it's the dinosaur going to the human's territory. The dinosaur gets hungry and finds out how easy it is to kill humans, making them easy prey for it, with the local law trying to hunt it down and stop its killing spree. And 3. The sci-fi route, where you have a cloned dinosaur to explain where it comes from, either cloning or malformed creature that vaguely looks like a dinosaur. There are multiple options, but it's up to the writers to decide how to make it work and believable for the audience to accept. Number 6. Jurassic Park killed the competition. And let's be real here. Jurassic Park set the bar pretty high when it comes to dinosaur entertainment. No matter what dinosaur movie they produce, it will always be compared to Jurassic Park, or The Land Before Time. They'll compare the effects, compare the characters, compare the signature scenes. Doubly so if it goes the sci-fi route to explain the origin of the dinosaur. It happened with Carnosaur, and it's happening again with each mockbuster getting released. People will always say Jurassic Park did it better. The only thing people might say it did better than Jurassic Park is the gore department, and being able to show the death scenes in a horrific manner that couldn't be shown there due to the rating. Is it impossible to have a horror dinosaur movie? No. We have seen the Jurassic movies leaning towards horror with the suspense and some memorable death scenes, but due to being restrained by the PG-13 rating, they couldn't go all out with the violence. Blood is shown at minimum, death moments are either obscured by something or done off screen. This is one of the reasons I want a new adaptation of the novel. Jurassic Park is famous for many graphic death scenes and the emphasis of the horror of the dinosaurs that is greatly lost from the movies. What we need here is a serious attempt at making a real dinosaur horror movie. A movie that doesn't talk down to its audience and treat their intelligence with respect. A movie that makes us truly care about its characters and thus makes their death scenes the more heartbreaking. A movie that makes us really scared of dinosaurs. It is possible. We just need actual effort and commitment in doing so.